Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself a nice starter mine. After you've gotten yourself some initial resources, you'll probably want to make yourself a nice area to call your mine, so that way it's more than just a hole in the ground. So you can see here, just some nice decorations, and it still looks good from the outside. So without further ado, let's investigate how we'd go about this. Before we actually build the mine itself, we need to connect it to other things. So I'm going to teach you how to build a path. Very simple. Cobblestone and gravel. Get maybe a stack or two of each of these blocks. Remove all the grass from an area, and then you want to speckle it into the ground, like this. Of course, this is heavily sped up footage, but you can see lots of cobblestone and lots of gravel. And with that, you can see from the sky, it looks okay. However, these little parts where it's just like a grid, no, don't do that. Make sure that looks natural and doesn't look like it could be computer generated. Make it look like someone is walking here. And then lead it up to the area you want the mine to be at. I recommend it be a little bit lower in the ground. You can see this little hill, this divot, this is good. And it's very simple what we want to do here. We want to add some stone. Petrify this area so that way it looks more natural. You can add this to the side of a hill, a mountain, whatnot. All we need is to make sure this area is stony, and you can expand it if you want to build a whole mountain town. So now let's petrify all the terrain. And now we have that right there, and you can see it's just stone. Nothing terribly complicated. The bottom blocks we'll worry about in a moment. Those blocks on the bottom will just be nice and simple stone as well. However, we're going to add a little bit of a path. But still, I recommend all stone like that. And you can see it just looks like someone spilled some gray. It's okay from a distance, but we can definitely improve upon it. So from here, what we want to do is go to the back and dig ourselves a 3x3 hole. Kind of like an abandoned mine shaft, if you get what I mean. So like this, that's where the actual mine will go. You can always build this around a pre-existing thing. Then, we need to use some stairs and slabs to flatten the terrain. If this is your first mine in the world, then it's okay if you skip this step until later. It can get quite expensive. Remember, if you can't build all of this right now, just build the parts you can, and then put some signs around saying what you need to do later. That way, you can have your build, and then you can have all your details just at a later date when you're more ready for them. But you can see here, just some stone, some slabs, whatnot. And then we need a little bit of spruce coming from our hole we made. We're going to surround that in tuff later. But for now, just some spruce. And then you can see how the side, I smoothed it out to make it look more natural. Try to avoid perfect grids and staircases. Make it unnatural. Make it look like someone's already been here, because when you try doing that, it looks less like someone has built it. So some spruce, some nice smooth sides, and now we do need a thing to signify the entrance. Take a pause here, take a look, whatnot. We want to use some walls, some trapdoors, some barrels, whatnot, and we want to build it at a bit of an angle. Then, once we're done with that, we want to go inside. And the inside is pretty simple. We go in and we dig some more. If you're close to the surface, maybe dig down by one block. That way, you don't accidentally breach it. And of course, more spruce. Make sure that when you go down, don't make it completely flat. Notice that one spruce block sticking out. Now, let's punch some holes into the wall. For now, this is just a bit of an excavation project. And you might want to craft an iron pickaxe for this part. So now, we mine the ceiling, make sure there's no dirt exposed, that can get awkward, and now we have a little area. And this little area can actually make or break the build, surprisingly. So let's decorate it. First, the same stairs and slabs we have outside, just making sure that this place looks a bit more natural, even if it can't actually naturally generate. And then, here's a cool trick. Mine the walls and add some stairs, and then slabs, and let's hide non-ore blocks behind it. When we do this, we make fantasy ores. Prismarine is good, it can be mithril, Or you can do glowstone, the various nether warts, concretes, preferably things with big textures. Or you can do things like raw gold blocks if you're a bit more bougie. Then we can add some pillars into here using some fences or stone bricks. However, don't overdo it. We can see right here, that one on the left, it just doesn't fit. And besides, we need to add stuff like crafting tables and furnaces. For now, continue our spruce, and then we're going to excavate another area. This is where the functional part of the mine goes. So now we have that, and you can see it's just a nice natural area. Let's turn on night vision for effectively no difference. And this part, we dig straight to bedrock. And now this is where the tutorial can take a little bit of a weird turn. I actually did not anticipate this at all. So if you accidentally run into a big thing of water, you should block it off and then use sand or gravel in order to get rid of the water inside. You can also use sponges to do this. But if you are unable to get rid of it, like it's too tall, too large, or you just don't have the resources, you can always move the functional part of your mine. It does not have to be in the back. It can be on the sides as well. Or your room can be a bit wider. So you can see right here, goes straight down to bedrock. You should be at y equals -59 if you have show coordinates enabled, or press F3 plus function key on your keyboard. Now, to get down, we can put some water to cancel our fall damage. This is a bad idea though. Instead, of course, going down to the proper Y level, -59, let's place ourselves some powder snow. You can get this by placing cauldrons during a snowy day. But you can see right there, powder snow, and I put some carpet on it. This will actually negate your fall damage. And you can see right there, no fall damage, and you don't have to get out of the water, which means you have a very nice mine. Then, to get back up, we can use ladders. That's a very good temporary solution. But if we want to make this a true mine, then we have to build a bubble elevator. This part is expensive. I recommend having diamond tools before doing this one, not a starter part. So you can see right here, when we place full water blocks above soul sand, they launch us up. So what we want to do from here is surround the walls with glow lichen. Remember, you can bone meal them in order to make more. These will block the water. Then let's add some water to the top, and we want to let it flow down like this. And you can see that's all pretty nice. Then we can place some kelp in it to make it go all the way up. And this is very important. Otherwise, you're going to have non-full water blocks. So we have this going all the way up. You can use bone meal to help you. And then you go to the bottom, chop down the kelp, and you place down some soul sand. And now you can see we just place down our 2 blocks and we launch up faster than you can fly in creative mode, which is of course very good to have in a mine. So hooray. Now that we have up and down in the mine, we have the actual functional part pretty much complete. Once you're at the bottom, make a small room. This part's not very important, just mine like you'd normally go. You go in a straight line, and maybe every 3 blocks, you make another tunnel, and eventually you'll find diamonds. It's a pretty effective way to go mining, rather than making a whole flat area. So now, we have that, and we go back to the surface. We do need some actual amenities here, and I recommend adding some of them to the bottom as well. So, add some chests and whatnot. But also, we do need some decorations, because we can always go mining and such, but let's actually use some of that stuff. Show that we actually do the mining. Crafting tables, furnaces, maybe a stone cutter. There's a lot of ways we can go about this. So you can see here, added some glowstone. If you're near a pale garden, those moss things can help a lot. Cauldrons, maybe a few snow layers and carpets to look like a sleeping bag. Make it look lived in, but it's not particularly cozy to live in, but it looks like, realistic. Additionally, we have candles here. These can also be a bit pricey to get, but they also add a lot. I recommend to leave them undyed. And now we have that whole interior done. So let's go back to the exterior, and we just need to add some things. This can get, well, a bit overwhelming, and this is also where your build is most likely to diverge by a lot. We want to make sure this feels integrated into the surrounding area, like your houses, your farms, whatnot. So, a good way to do this is, once you have Silk Touch, of course, well, you can place down some ores. Emeralds are very valuable for this, because mining emeralds is never a good way to get them. So, their ores are more like trophies than anything. So, right here, we can just do a little bit of building, and then we just have this, and all we have to do from here is just to build ourselves maybe some coal piles, ore piles, whatnot, some TNT, and making sure any good ores like normal diamond or deep slate emerald are treated with the respect they deserve, along with normal emerald ore, because that's pretty rare as well. So let's fill that out, and you can see right here we have something really nice going on. Some of the coal piles, notice the coal ore next to it. We have a wheelbarrow for the whole deep slate emerald, and then we're just going to add other things like the TNT. Notice there's a skull, campfires. You can put them out with shovels, so we can just have log piles around. But yeah, the TNT with the red candles, the skull, all that stuff. And you can see some of the fake ores. Inside, if there's anything you like here that you weren't able to fit, or if there's anything out there that you like and want in here, you can always do that. I recommend watching the whole thing before building. But you can see right there, we just add ourselves a bunch of stuff, and the mine itself is effectively complete. From here, all we're really adding is a bit of tuff, like I said I'd add earlier. Just add this around your spruce. Notice the stairs in the pathway to make it look ruined. And yeah, we do all this, and hooray. By the way, make sure that you have slabs for tuff as well. But we have the mine complete, and it looks good. And we're going to revisit a past part of the tutorial now, because all this looks really nice, really professional. But what about that path from earlier? We still need to fill this out a bit better to make sure this mine feels like part of the world rather than just a tutorial set piece. So let's add some lanterns on logs. Then add some firefly bushes as well. And that already adds a lot. You can see the fireflies are coming in. And you can do this to any long path in your world. However, we can still do more from here. We want to make sure this looks really good. We're not going to settle for less for the most part. That's for our 1,000 block long ones that we kind of give up on and burn out on the whole world. So let's add some rock piles, because this one's actually worth decorating. Some stairs, slabs, whatnot. Then we can add benches. You can see, just copy that over. Pause if you want to copy the design. And now, with all that, we've really set up something really nice. And you can see down here, it's just a pit, and it's a bit more efficient than most mines, but still, quick look and vibrant visuals. You can see this still looks good, even with the higher contrast, the blurrier lighting, lowered clarity, whatnot. This still generally makes the world look a lot better. And you can see how this mine looks like it's part of this whole thing. There's still one last thing in this starter house tutorial series I have to do, but this mine is a welcome addition. Make sure this place feels very lived in. Maybe incorporate some ores on the petrified sides in order to really wrap it up. But yeah, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember to please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw